You are live. That's what this thing on across the screen said to me. Did it say that for you, Tim?
It says that we are live.
That
Yes.
means people are listening, and that's wonderful. How's it going, dude?
That's great. How about yourself? How's your week?
Okay, so recently adopted a new puppy. I have no idea what day of the week it is anymore. I think we're pretty close to the things that we need to get her trained on. But yeah, I remember texting you last night being like, oh, tomorrow's Thursday. We have to record. So here we are. You? What about you?
All is good, man. I'm
Getting ready for Boston?
getting ready for Boston. I just so I'm getting into the thick of training. So 9 miles this morning.
For those of you listening, Tim is going to run his second Boston Marathon. Obviously, we sometimes talk about the parallels between business and fitness. What are you learning right now, just as you're preparing for this race, this run in early April that maybe you weren't thinking about before?
Well, I enjoy running in winter and training in winter versus in the heat of Virginia summers. That's one. But in terms of business parallels, I mean, it all comes down to discipline. I mean, it's just you have to have the discipline to do the things that have to be done every single day, and you don't know, or you can't necessarily see the improvements that are made on a day-to-day basis. And then if, as you trust your training plan along the way, magically at the end of 12 weeks or however long your training plan is, everything comes together and it works. But you gotta keep all those negative thoughts out of your head and trust your training. It will work if you put the work in.
Trust the process. There is I believe it was the Philadelphia 76ers. They kept sucking for many, many years in basketball, and they kept
trust the process.
And they kept saying trust the process. Well, they still haven't won, and now they're in a weird thing, but they're definitely a better team. They're not a bottom feeder, if you will. But it's interesting how it's kind of like, here's what we're going to do. This is what I want to do, and if you trust this process, it's very likely that the outcome will happen at some point in the future. It's when you sway away from that's different. I would imagine that's very similar to putting together a production, a movie production, where it's like, hey, we have to put all these different scenes together. We have to write it. We have to find the cast. We have to record it. We have to shoot it. And then we have to edit it. And then things get tweaked and yada, 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 yada. And I'm just thinking as I'm saying that, recording an episode of the Fervent Four Show like this, and how simple edits this is compared to then a full-on production.
So raw, what we do.
Yeah, it's like, here it is. And we are grateful to be joined today by Butch Maier of Sumbadhat Productions. Very clever name. I'm sure we'll get into that at some point, because you're not wearing a hat right now.
And I typically don't. I would like to keep my hair, so I figure that's a strategy. If I don't wear a hat, maybe.
Is that a thing?
Well, I'm curious. It's like, because people that are receding, they wear a hat to hide it. So do you wear a hat to hide it if it already started, or do you not wear it in hopes to keep it? I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know. Most of the men in my family have gone bald, and so I just know it's inevitable. I have a little spot.
Oh. But we can't see it. Don't worry.
But I'm not going to do the comb over. I'm not going to wear a piece, which is interesting. My next movie has to do with hairline. So little plug, so to speak.
So at the point that it potentially does happen for you, you'll just go straight bald.
I might shave it because if it's already going, might as well just get rid of it. But
you could do the economist look, where the top is gone and then you grow the beard with it, and
there you go. It kind of looks like a hair avalanche. It just falls off the top of the peak and just falls down onto your face.
Hair is a very it's a very interesting just thing in general, where it's you can't really control it, I guess, unless you're Jeff Bezos, who apparently went bald and then now is a full head.
Dude, have you seen how buff he is in the pictures that just surfaced? That dude is.
Well, he hangs out with The Rock now, so that's probably.
No, really? Yeah, he is stacked.
he can afford a gym membership. So those are kind of expensive. So if you have the means,
Yeah. And there's rumor that Amazon may buy Peloton. Who knows?
Oh, really? Is that what?
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me tell you about Sumbadhat Hat. Sumbadhat Hat's an independent production company based in Virginia Beach. We make unique movies, and not just one genre, but a whole bunch of different genres. The name Sumbadhat Hat, people wonder where that comes from. My fascination with movies started when I was very young. My family took a summer trip to North Carolina, and we went to the beach the first day. And that night we went to see this little movie called Jaws. And I didn't go back onto the beach, much less into the water the rest of the week, because I was that terrified. It was that much of an impact. And that's when my fascination with Jaws began. And there's a line from the movie when the chief is paranoid about the shark and he starts looking in the water and seeing people splashing about and sees this figure, and it's an old man with a bathing cap, and the man comes to shore and says, "We know all about you, Chief. You don't go in the water at all." And the chief says, "That's Sumbadhat Hat, Harry." And it's just an offhanded line, but Sumbadhat Hat just stuck with me, and I spell it the way that I do, Sumbadhat, because otherwise it looks like so me bad hat, and so I just that was the way that I chose to spell it, and started this production company and decided to become a filmmaker.
Was Jaws immediately a big hit, or did it take time to?
No, it was word of mouth. Back in those days, of course, you didn't have the internet, so once it got out there were quickly lines around the block, and I've seen pictures. That is not exaggerating. There were lines around the block of people waiting to get into this movie. It was that much of an impact, and it just had that much.
That was late 70s, right?
1975 is when it came out.
75. And when did Sumbadhat Hat? When did you start your company?
So in 2006 is when I started Sumbadhat Hat, when I was living in Ohio. And
wow!
I started writing screenplays before that, actually, right after college. You're in college and you have these structured, you go to class, you have all your time basically covered going to hang out with friends, and then you get out of college and it's like, oh, okay, I don't have to go to class. I do have to get a job. I don't have a job yet. I have a little bit of money. I'm going to go to the movie theater. I go to the movie theater, and I got a job at a video rental store. If you've ever heard of those, it was not the famous one.
Isn't that how Quentin Tarantino started as well?
Yes, I'm doing everything. I'm just copying Quentin, basically. I'm making Kill Bill 3 next.
Because I think the only local video store still around, at least the last time I thought about it, was Narrow. Right? Are they still around?
I think they closed a little bit ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is sad, because that was wonderful. I mean, you could find some movies that you'd never heard of and seen before, and I would love going there when I was.
Is the actual theater closed too?
No, the theater is open.
It's the theater's open. I
actually plan to premiere my third feature this summer at the Narrow, and that movie's called Kill Devil Hills. It's a horror thriller that we shot not in Kill Devil Hills, but in Virginia Beach. I got some drone footage of Kill Devil Hills, and I've gotten some mixed reaction from the people in OBX going, "Wait a minute, you filmed this in Virginia Beach. Why didn't you film it here?" But
there's a hit show on Netflix called OBX or Outer Banks, and I believe that was recorded in California. So,
yeah. And it came out right after I shot Kill Devil Hills, and it was like, oh, that's great timing. Not really.
Yeah, it looks like the Narrow closed in 2019. How did I not know that? Probably because the thing next to the theater is still open. But they donated 42,000 videos to ODU's library, which is pretty cool. So
go to ODU if you want to see the movies that you were digging through at the Narrow store.
Are you stuck at your home office, socially distanced coffee shop, or your fancy, all bricked out corner office, wondering why no one can see your business and sales are all over the place? Sounds like you need a pro. That's why I developed the Anomaly Academy. Insert clever copy here. Oh, I guess I was supposed to put something else there. Oops. You can grab access to the Anomaly Academy now at ZachMillerSays.com/Anomaly Academy.